Hi guys, this is Josh, the RV guy at All American Coach and the RV Wholesale Superstore in Sylvania, Ohio. I just wanted to do a little video real quick and give you some information. I get a lot of questions every single day, and some of them are routine questions that I hear a lot. So I wanted to give you some of the answers to these generic questions. They aren't about specific units or anything like that, just typical shopper questions that people have. One of the first things that people ask about, or that one of the things that I hear a lot that is kind of a misconception, is the gross vehicle weight rating. A lot of people think that that's how much the camper weighs as it's going down the road after it's loaded up. That's not the case. The gross vehicle weight rating is simply how much weight that your axles are rated to hold. So if you have a camper where the gross vehicle weight rating is 10,000 pounds and the dry weight's 6,000 pounds or 7,000 pounds even, you're going to be towing probably somewhere between 8,500, maybe 9,000 pounds. You're not towing a 10,000 pound camper down the road, because most people take with them anywhere from 800 to 1,500 pounds worth of stuff, depending on the camper. The bigger the camper is, the more you take with you. The smaller the camper is, the less you take with you. So really what you want to look at is the dry weight. So let's say your tow vehicle has a 10,000 pound tow capacity. I'm just using that as a nice round number. For that, you want to just know how you're going to camp. Are you taking everything under the sun with you every single time you go? Or are you light campers? You just take, the necessities. I say, 2,000 pounds is a good weight, a good buffer. So if you have a 10,000 pound camper, 10,000 pound tow capacity, I would start looking at things under 8,000 pounds. That's just my personal, prerogative. Now, like I said, the smaller the camper, the smaller the less things that you're going to take with you. So if you're looking at 5,000 pound campers, you're not going to fit 2,000 pounds worth of stuff in there unless you're loading it up with bowling balls. So if you have a 7,500 pound tow capacity, a 5,000 pound camper is going to be fine. You could probably do a 6,000 pound camper and you'll still be fine. So you want to look at how much you typically take with you. Is it a lot? Is it just your typical camping supplies, or do you have some things that weigh more than other people take with them? A lot of people just take camping stuff, but I've had customers that need storage for tools and that sort of thing. They're using it as like a mobile workshop. Those things weigh more, so you want a lighter camper, because you're going to just be towing more with it, with the camper itself. Most people, when they're looking at campers, have a concern about hitch weight, and hitch weight anymore on toy hauler, or not toy haulers, but on travel trailers, is almost an obsolete metric. One of the reasons for that is you basically have to have a weight distribution sway control hitch. I mean, unless you're towing with a 1 ton and you're only towing like a 20-foot camper, you almost have to have a weight distribution sway control hitch. And those hitches are designed to limit your tongue weight by up to 50%. So we use a Blue Ox sway control on probably 95% of our deals here at All American Coach and RV Wholesale Superstore, and that will cut your hitch weight down 50%. So I get customers, routinely that are looking at campers online and calling in and with questions, and they say, I really like this camper, but it's got a 750 pound hitch weight and I'm concerned about it. Well, that means it's going to be, a 325. You're going to be towing, 375 is you're going to be your hitch weight. With the Blue Ox sway control. Now, if you don't plan on using a weight distribution hitch, which again, here we're all about safety. So, I mean, I don't even know if we'd let it off the lot without one unless you had a massive truck. But you really shouldn't be worried about that on travel trailers, as long as you're getting that weight distribution hitch. Toy haulers are a little bit different because you're loading things up with them. You put a motorcycle in the back of a toy hauler, and then you load up things in the front. Your hitch weight can vary very, very easily. Toy haulers, remember that anything that's loaded behind the axles is actually going to reduce your hitch weight. So, and that's the same thing with travel trailers too. If you have rear storage and that kind of thing, make that your go-to storage place for your heavier items, and it'll reduce your hitch weight, because it's a fulcrum. Your wheels are in the center, you put weight on one side and it lifts the other side up. So that's one way to get around, if you're concerned about hitch weight. Now, those weight distribution and sway control hitches on toy haulers can kind of be tricky because depending on what you're taking with you, if it's not going to tow the same, with a Harley in the back as it would be with an empty garage. So you want to have a little bit of a consistent weight rating, know what you're going to be taking with you 90% of the time or most of the time, and then get your bars and that sort of thing, and we'll all help with that. Dealers will help you pick out the right bars. One thing to be worried about though is I have heard a lot of dealers that just say throw 1,000-pound bars on it. Well, if you have a 600-pound hitch weight and you throw 1,000-pound bars on it, you're not going to get much sway control. You're not going to get much anything. They make different pounds of bars and they all cost the same amount. They make different pounds because per the hitch weight, you need different bars to get the full effect of that weight distribution and sway control. So, think about that as well. On fifth wheels, your load is over your axles. So hitch weight on fifth wheels isn't even that huge of a concern. If you have a truck that is got a tow capacity that's big enough to tow a fifth wheel, chances are you have no issues about hitch weight on a fifth wheel because of the way that the load is distributed over the axles. It's not on the back bumper like a toy hauler. Now, that being said, there are different kinds and floor plans of campers that are not the best when it comes to hitch weight, and you do have to be concerned about anything front living, front kitchen, anything with multiple slides up front. That's going to be a much heavier hitch weight or pin weight than your standard, rear living fifth wheel where the slides are in the back. Again, the more weight that you have in the rear of your camper, the lower your hitch weight. Now, on a safety kind of concern, the more weight that you have in the back end of your camper, the more sway you're going to get. The more weight you have over your tongue and the more weight that you have in the front, the less sway you're going to get. So it's a trade-off. But if you're concerned about hitch weight, then anymore you really shouldn't be. You're going to get a weight distribution hitch on a toy haul or on a travel trailer, and fifth wheels are designed. Trucks that can tow fifth wheels are designed to tow fifth wheels. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. About campers themselves, a lot of people ask about smooth-sided versus aluminum-sided. Smooth-sided, there are some benefits too, but there's a lot of benefits to the aluminum corrugated siding too. So on the smooth-sided ones, they're a little bit easier to keep clean because it's a flat surface. They're a little bit sleeker of a look. I've heard people say that they're more aerodynamic. I don't know if I buy that. But I don't think they might be, but I don't think it's going to, affect your gas mileage or anything like that. But the biggest thing is they look good, and things that look good have better resale value. Things that have better resale value have higher trade-in values and that sort of thing. Some of the cons to it is fiberglass is heavier, but on the other side of the coin, when you see a smooth-sided camper, almost 90% of the time or more, you're going to get an aluminum frame to offset that weight. Not all of them do, so keep an eye out for things that have wooden frames and fiberglass sidings. Those are going to be a lot heavier. But it's really a judgment call as far as whether or not you have to have those smooth sides or not. The benefits of the aluminum sided ones are, number one, it's going to hide dirt a little bit better because it's not a flat surface. A lot of them are coming with matte finishes and that sort of thing now, so they're not that super shiny white camper anymore that shows all the dirt. But the biggest benefit to me on an aluminum one is if you're backing into a site and you hit a tree branch and it pokes a hole in the side of your camper, in order to get that fixed on an aluminum sided one, all you have to do is replace that aluminum shingle. You call up the manufacturer and you tell them, I have this camper, I need this shingle, and they give it to you. On a smooth sided one, you either have to replace the entire side of the camper or whatever panel that you hit, or you have to take a trip to a body shop. And unless you have a high gloss finish on the exterior of your camper, even if you take it to a body shop, which is probably the least expensive route to go, you're still going to see where that damage was because it's going to be a different texture. Our regular fiberglass units, you can see the fiberglass fibers in the exterior, and when they patch it and they fix that hole at the body shop, it's going to be smooth where they fixed it. The high gloss is smooth everywhere. You don't see the fiber, so you can do that pretty seamlessly. But it just kind of depends on your preference. A general rule of thumb is that if it has smooth sides, it's probably a little bit of a higher end unit. You're going to have medium to high-end units in the smooth sided. You're going to have entry level to medium in the aluminum side. So it just depends on what you're looking for and how much you're willing to spend. To me, I don't know if that would, I would never go to a camper and say, or a camp place and say, I'm looking for campers, but they have to have smooth sides just because of smooth sides. I want to look at some of the things that I'm going to use a little bit more. But if it's important to you, there's nothing wrong with that either. A lot of people ask, there's different types of slides and which ones the best ones are. Anymore, the slide out technology is very, very good no matter what kind of slide that you get. My personal preference is a rack and pinion slide. That's what most of the units are using nowadays. The best slide by far is probably the hydraulic slides, but you don't typically see those unless you're looking at higher end fifth wheels and that sort of thing. But there are cable driven slides and electric Schwintek slides. You can tell a lot by the exterior. So the cable driven slides, you'll see the cables on the outside on the sides of the camper. The electric Schwintek slides, you won't see cables, but you'll see a track on the side of the camper. And then the rack and pinion and rack and pinion and hydraulic slides, there won't be anything on the side of the campers, but you'll get big like bars underneath it. It's a big deal on the inside of your camper though. You want either cable driven slides or the rack and pinion slides to maximize the space on the inside. And hydraulic slides excluded. I'm not really talking about those because those are, like I said, those are just on fifth wheels for the most part. You can get some tow haulers or travel trailers with them like that too. But if you have the electric Schwintek slide, it has a step up. There's like a platform that goes in and out with the slide, and it's probably about an 8 or 10 inch platform. So everything in that unit, even if it's the same floor plan as something with a rack and pinion slide, it's going to feel a little bit smaller because it's built up on that platform. You have less window space, less storage space because you have to have room for that platform to go in and out. On cable driven slides, they don't go out as far. They're built out a little bit from the wall because all of your cable mechanisms, your pulleys and everything are on the inside of the camper, and there has to be room for those on the inside of the camper. So that's why I like the rack and pinion slides, because they go out, they're flush to the floor, and they go all the way out, and it's kind of the best, I think. The only reason that you ever get leaks and slide outs anymore is if typically, I mean, there's always one case where this isn't true, but for the most part, if you have a leak or you find water around your slide, it's because of two things. Either one, you parked in a wooded area and there's acorns, twigs, whatever up on top of your slide out. You bring your slide out in and it tears up those seals, and you get water leaking that way. Probably the more common one is just because people don't know. You want to get in a habit of moving your slide all the way in and all the way out every time that you do so. You don't want to do any, just move it out just enough to get to somewhere. Like I got to load up my refrigerator. I'm going to move it out halfway so I can open up my refrigerator. If you're going to put it out, put it all the way out. And the reason for that is slide outs have these flapper seals that go all the way around the slide. And over time, if you just go in and out a little bit, you don't go all the way in and all the way out, those flapper seals can get crossed up. So basically what happens is when you bring your slide out, you have a flapper seal that's like this, and then when you go out, the movement of that slide pushes that flapper seal, and it creates a nice seal all the way this way. When you bring it in, it goes just like that. So when you go halfway and you make that a habit, then you might get where the top of it is one way and the bottom of it is another way, and where it meets, there's a gap in the seal, and you can get some water in there. So best rule of thumb, if you're going to move your slide out, move it all the way out. If you're going to move it in, move it all the way in, and just check to make sure that those flapper seals aren't crossed up. I talked about prep and hidden fees and that sort of thing in my last video, so I don't want to spend time. We're already at 14 minutes looking at that, but I posted a video yesterday. It's called Secrets That Your Local RV Dealer Don't Want You to Know. Take a look at that video if you want to know anything about prep and hidden fees. But one thing that I didn't talk about on that video was term and how term is calculated. So term is calculated based off of how much you finance. So if you finance let's say under $20,000, you're going to have a 10-year term. Over $20,000, you're going to have a 12-year term. There are some banks that will consider 15 with good credit. And then if you're over $50,000, you can go 20 years. What a lot of people do, because they're all simple interest loans, is they pay just the minimum down payment so that they finance the most amount, get the longest term and lowest monthly payment. And then let's say you wanted to put 5 or 10 grand down on it, do that with your first payment, and it all comes off the principal of the loan. That way you're paying your loan off quicker, you're cutting your interest rate down, you're doing all those things by paying extra. But then your minimum monthly payment is the lowest that you can get. So yeah, just a little bit of information about that. I didn't go into too crazy depth on everything that I talked about. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Let me know, what specifically you'd like to have answered, and I'll do my best to answer it. If I don't have the answer, there's a lot of people here at All American Coach RV Wholesale Superstore that are smarter than I am, and I can get the answer. So again, I'm Josh the RV guy, All American Coach RV Wholesale Superstore in Sylvania, Ohio. Do these videos to help out customers. Hopefully this helps you in finding your perfect camper. I always recommend taking a look at us. We try to have the best prices in the country, and if we have something on our lot that might suit you and your family for what you're looking for, then give us a shot to earn your business, and I guarantee you won't regret it. But hopefully all this information helps you. If you have any other questions, just give me a shout, comment, message the page, like and subscribe this video. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys.